What if I told you that the reason you've never mastered guitar, never become fluent in that language you've been studying for years, never built that business you dream about, has nothing to do with talent, nothing to do with intelligence, and everything to do with a secret that feudal Japan discovered over 400 years ago? A secret so powerful that it transformed ordinary peasants into legendary samurai, mediocre artisans into masters whose work survived centuries. This wasn't magic. This wasn't genetics. This was a system called Shu-Ha-Ri. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why 99% of people never master anything, and more importantly, how you can become part of the 1% who do. Before we dive deep into this ancient wisdom, I want you to do something for me. Subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that notification bell, because what you're about to learn goes against everything modern education has taught you. And if this resonates with you, you'll want to make sure you never miss content like this. Now let me ask you something. How many skills have you started learning and quit? 3? 5? 10? Maybe you bought that guitar and it's collecting dust in your closet. Maybe you downloaded Duolingo and used it for 2 weeks. Maybe you started that online course and never finished past Module 3. You're not alone. But here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not because you're not talented. It's because you never learned how to learn. Think about it. We spend years in school, in college, getting degrees, taking courses. But nobody ever taught us the actual mechanism of mastery. Nobody showed us the hidden path that every expert, every master, every virtuoso has walked. The samurai knew this path. They called it Shu-Ha-Ri. 3 stages, 3 gates you must pass through. And here's what nobody tells you. You cannot skip a single one. The moment you try, you doom yourself to mediocrity forever. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a young man in 16th century Japan. Let's call him Takeshi. Takeshi wasn't born into a samurai family. He had no connections, no money, no advantages, just an obsession. He wanted to master the sword more than he wanted to breathe. So what did he do? What most people do today. He tried to teach himself. He woke up at dawn. He practiced for hours. He read every text he could find about sword techniques. He memorized the names of famous moves. He studied battle strategies. He knew more theory than students who had trained under masters for years. But here's the problem. After an entire year of daily practice, Takeshi hadn't improved at all. Not even a little. In fact, he was getting worse. His movements were sloppy. His form was terrible. His body was learning the wrong patterns, cementing mistakes deeper into his muscle memory with every repetition. 1 year of hard work. 1 year of dedication, 1 year of passion, all of it worse than useless, all of it actually making him worse at the thing he loved. Does this sound familiar? Of course it does, because this is what's happening to you right now. You're practicing guitar without understanding proper finger placement. You're trying to learn a language without mastering basic pronunciation first. You're trying to build a business without learning from people who've already succeeded. You're skipping the first stage of Shu-Ha-Ri, and that's why you're failing. Now, the first stage is called Shu, and this is where everything begins. This is where your ego is going to scream at you to skip ahead. Shu means to obey, to protect, to preserve. In this stage, you don't innovate. You don't add your personal touch. You don't try to find a better way. You copy. Exactly, precisely, without deviation. You become a perfect mirror of your master. When Takeshi finally found a master willing to train him, do you know what the first lesson was? It wasn't a cool sword technique. It wasn't a secret strategy. It was standing in one position for 30 minutes. Just standing, breathing, holding a posture for 30 minutes. Takeshi's mind was screaming, "This is boring. This is a waste of time. When are we going to do real training?" But the master knew something Takeshi didn't. Mastery is built in millimeters, not in miles. Every advanced technique Takeshi would learn for the rest of his life would depend on this posture, this breathing, these fundamentals he thought were boring. And here's where modern neuroscience validates ancient wisdom. When you repeat a specific movement correctly between 300 to 500 times, your neurons in the cerebellum start creating an automated pattern. After 1,000 correct repetitions, the pattern becomes unconscious. The skill literally moves from your thinking brain to your automatic brain. But here's the critical part. If you change the movement before 300 repetitions, the pattern never forms. You stay forever in conscious mode, which is slow, exhausting, and error-prone. This is why you've never mastered anything. You practice something 50 times, get bored, and move to something else. You never give your brain enough repetitions to automate the skill. In the Shu stage, Takeshi learned exactly 12 basic techniques. Not 100, not 50, 12. But he practiced each one so many times that he could perform them unconsciously. One night his master woke him from deep sleep and commanded him to execute a vertical strike. Takeshi's body performed it perfectly before his mind even registered what was happening. That's the goal of Shu. The technique doesn't live in your head anymore. It lives in your body. But most people never get here. You know why? Because Shu is humiliating. It requires you to admit you know nothing. And our generation has been fed a toxic lie that makes Shu almost impossible. We've been told, find your own path, be original. Don't just copy others. That sounds empowering, right? But it's a trap. You don't have your own path yet. You haven't earned the right to innovate yet. You're trying to build a castle from the roof down. Every master in history has walked the same path. First, they copied perfectly. Then, they combined and adapted. Finally, they transcended and created. Never the other way around. Think about the greatest guitarists. Before they developed their unique sound, they spent years copying other guitarists note for note. The greatest chefs spent years perfecting classic recipes exactly as written. The greatest programmers spent years copying code from better programmers, line by line. Shu is not optional. It's the foundation upon which everything else is built. Now let's say you actually do it. You silence your ego. You find someone who's mastered what you want to learn. You copy them with obsessive precision for months, maybe years. The techniques become unconscious. What happens next? You enter the second stage, Ha. And this is where things get dangerous. Ha means to break, to detach, to diverge. In this stage, you finally get to question, finally get to experiment. But here's what most people miss. Ha only works if Shu was complete. After 2 years of perfect imitation, Takeshi's master brought a second instructor to train him. This instructor taught a completely different sword style, different stance, different strikes, different philosophy. Everything contradicted what Takeshi had spent 2 years learning. At first, his mind couldn't handle it. How can both be right? But then, after months of training in both styles, something profound happened. Takeshi began to see something beneath the surface. Beneath all the different techniques, there were universal principles. Both masters were teaching him the same thing: how to move energy efficiently through his body, how to read an opponent's intention. The techniques were different. The principles were identical. This is what Ha reveals. When you've mastered the forms through Shu, Ha shows you that forms are just fingers pointing at the moon. Most people are so obsessed with the finger, they never look where it's pointing. In Ha, you finally understand what the finger is pointing at. You see the principles behind the techniques. And once you understand principles, you can start to create. You can take technique A from your first master and technique B from your second master and combine them in a way neither of them ever did. You're no longer a robot copying instructions, but you're also not an amateur making it up as you go. You're an artist who understands the rules deeply enough to bend them wisely. One day during training, Takeshi blocked an attack using his first master's defensive stance, but countered with his second master's explosive strike. He created something new, something neither master had taught him. Both masters saw this and smiled. Ha was complete. But then, his master said something unexpected. Most warriors stop here. They think they've arrived at mastery, but they're still prisoners. prisoners of the techniques they've learned. There's a final stage, and almost nobody reaches it. The third stage is called Ri, and Ri is where mastery becomes something else entirely. Ri means to leave, to transcend, to separate. In this stage, there are no techniques anymore. There's just pure response to the moment. Takeshi's master told him a story. Years ago, an 80-year-old master came to challenge him. The old man could barely walk. Takeshi's master accepted, expecting an easy victory. The old master defeated him in 3 moves. The old man didn't use any recognizable technique. It was nothing and everything, like water, formless but perfectly adapted to every moment. The old master explained, "Young man, you fight well. You know many techniques, but you are still fighting. I don't fight anymore. I just respond. When you attack, my body knows the answer before my mind processes the question. There is no decision. There is no technique, just natural movement. This is Ri, when mastery becomes so deep that it becomes invisible, when skill becomes indistinguishable from instinct." The next 5 years were the hardest of Takeshi's life. His master stopped teaching him new techniques. He just made Takeshi fight every day. Different opponents, different styles. At first, Takeshi was still thinking, now I use this block. Now I combine it with that counter. His mind was constantly choosing, categorizing, deciding. But slowly, over years, something dissolved. The labels on techniques disappeared. One day, Takeshi fought 3 opponents simultaneously. When it was over, he couldn't remember making a single decision. His body just flowed. Block, strike, dodge, counter, all without thought. His master nodded. "You finally stopped fighting. Your body responded. There was no you in there making decisions. There was just pure response to the moment." This is Ri. Modern neuroscience has a name for this. They call it flow state. When experts reach the highest level of mastery, activity in the prefrontal cortex dramatically decreases. Older, deeper brain structures take over. The expert is no longer doing the skill. The skill is expressing itself through them. Now here's what's beautiful about Shu-Ha-Ri. It's not just about swords, it's about everything. You want to learn guitar? Shu-Ha-Ri. Start by copying songs exactly, note for note. No improvisation, just perfect imitation until the patterns live in your fingers. Then learn from multiple guitarists. Understand music theory, see the principles beneath the techniques. Finally, pick up your guitar and let music flow through you without thinking. You want to master programming? Copy code from experienced developers line by line. Then understand the principles, combine different approaches. Finally, see a problem and watch the solution manifest through your fingers. You want to build a business? Study business models that already work. Then adapt those models to your specific niche. Finally, reach a point where you read the market intuitively. The path is always the same. Obey, break, transcend, Shu-Ha-Ri. But here's the truth that hurts. Most people today will never experience true mastery because they refuse to go through. Shu. You don't want to find your own path. You want to avoid the hard work of mastering someone else's path first. The modern world has convinced us of a toxic lie, that we should skip fundamentals and jump straight to self-expression, that following a master is for the uncreative. And the result? An entire generation that knows a little about everything and nothing about anything. People who start 47 hobbies and finish none. Let me be brutally honest with you. The reason you haven't mastered that skill isn't lack of talent. It's not lack of time. It's not lack of resources. It's because you're trying to start in Ha or Ri without doing Shu. You want the results of mastery without paying the price of repetition. You want to skip Shu because it's boring, because it's humiliating to admit you know nothing, because our culture has sold us the lie that we're special and don't need to follow the path every master before us has followed. And as long as you believe this lie, you will remain mediocre in everything you touch. The truth is this: there is no shortcut. There never has been. There never will be. So here's what you need to do. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Right now, after this video ends. First, choose one skill, not 3, not 5. 1. The skill that if you mastered it in the next 3 years would completely transform your life. Second, find someone who has already mastered this skill. They don't need to be the best in the world. They need to be 10 times better than you. Third, enter Shu with complete humility. Copy this person with obsessive precision. No adaptations, no creativity, just perfect imitation. Will it be boring? Yes. Will it feel like you're losing your identity? Yes. Will people judge you? Yes. Perfect. That means you're doing it right. Fourth, stay in Shu until it's complete. You'll know it's complete when techniques flow without conscious thought. This might take 6 months. It might take 2 years. It doesn't matter. Stay there until it's done. Fifth, only then enter Ha. Study other approaches. Combine techniques. Question the why behind everything. Understand principles. But never forget that Ha only works because Shu was complete. Sixth, continue for years, not months, years. Keep practicing, keep experimenting, and one day, without you even noticing, you'll be in Ri. You'll execute your skill without thinking. You'll transcend techniques. There's a study from Oxford University where researchers studied 500 masters across different domains: musicians, athletes, programmers, martial artists, business leaders. The finding was unanimous. Every single world-class expert followed the same 3-stage pattern. First, a phase of rigorous imitation lasting 1 to 3 years. Second, a phase of experimentation and combination lasting 3 to 7 years. Third, a phase of intuition and innovation that marks true mastery. Not a single exception. Not one. On his last day, when Takeshi was 87 years old, surrounded by his most advanced students, one asked, "Master, what was your greatest regret?" Takeshi thought for a long moment. "My only regret is not starting Shu sooner. I wasted an entire year trying to teach myself, thinking I was smart enough to find a better way. If I had started with a master from day one, I would have mastered the sword a year earlier. And an extra year of mastery is a treasure no gold can buy." Then he looked each student in the eye. "Don't make my mistake. If you want to master something, find someone who has already mastered it. Copy that person without shame, without ego, without rushing. Mastery isn't about being original from day one. It's about becoming so deeply skilled that originality becomes inevitable. You know what Shu-Ha-Ri really is? It's a mirror. And what you see when you look into that mirror tells you everything about who you'll be in 5 years. Do you see someone willing to start as a complete beginner? Someone willing to copy without ego? Or do you see someone still looking for the shortcut that doesn't exist? Because only one of these people will master anything. And you know which one it is. Takeshi was just a village boy. No special talent, no advantages. Just a willingness to obey completely before questioning. To imitate perfectly before innovating, to master basics before seeking advanced techniques. And this transformed him from nobody into a master whose name was remembered for centuries. You have the same choice. The same path is open to you right now. So what will you choose? Will you spend the next 5 years looking for a better way that doesn't exist? Or will you pay the price of mastery? Will you walk the path? Shu, then Ha, then Ri. The path is ancient, the path is tested, the path works. But you have to take the first step. You have to enter Shu. You have to find your master. You have to start copying. And if you do, if you actually commit to this path, I promise you something. 3 years from now, you'll look back at who you are today, and you won't believe you were the same person. You'll have mastered something real. Something deep, something that will serve you for the rest of your life. The question is not, does Shu-Ha-Ri work? The question is, are you willing to pay the price? Mastery is waiting, but it won't come to you. You have to walk to it, step by step, repetition by repetition. Shu, then Ha, then Ri. If this video opened your eyes to how learning and mastery actually work, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that notification bell, because I'm going to keep bringing you content like this. Content that challenges what you think you know. Content that shows you the real path forward. And tell me in the comments, what skill are you going to master using Shu-Ha-Ri? What's the one thing that would change your life if you truly mastered it? Write it down below. Make it public. Make it real. If you made it this far, thank you. You're one of the few who are truly willing to learn, and that already separates you from 99% of people. Now go. Enter Shu. Find your master. Start copying. And years from now, you'll look back on this moment as the day everything changed. Until the next video. And may your journey to mastery begin today.